Albert Einstein, the man who reshaped the cosmos. Albert Einstein, a name that has become synonymous with genius, was born on March 14, 1879, in the small town of Ulm in the Kingdom of Württemberg, part of the German Empire. From the outset, Einstein's childhood did not foreshadow the towering intellect he would one day become. In fact, he was a late talker and was once thought to have learning difficulties. But beneath this quiet exterior, a mind was at work that would challenge the very foundations of physics. The early spark of curiosity, young Einstein had a deep fascination with the natural world. As a child, his father gave him a simple compass, and the mystery of the needle's movement sparked a lifelong curiosity about the forces of nature. This fascination would shape his intellectual path, leading him to question how the universe functioned at its most fundamental levels. By the time he was a teenager, Einstein had begun to delve into complex mathematical and philosophical texts, immersing himself in ideas that would later fuel his scientific breakthroughs. In 1895, at the age of 16, Einstein left Germany and moved to Switzerland, a country whose political neutrality would eventually become crucial to his life. The following year, he renounced his German citizenship, forsaking the militaristic culture of the time. Instead, he sought to immerse himself in the academic freedom offered by the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich, where he enrolled in a teaching diploma program for mathematics and physics. Despite occasional struggles with authority and formal education, Einstein graduated in 1900, and shortly thereafter, he became a Swiss citizen, a status he cherished for the rest of his life. The miracle year and a patent clerk's revolution. After completing his education, Einstein found himself in a modest position as a patent examiner in Bern, Switzerland. It was here, in the quiet corridors of the Swiss Patent Office, that his mind truly began to flourish. By day, Einstein reviewed patents for electromagnetic devices, but by night, his thoughts wandered far beyond the everyday technicalities of his job. His intellectual breakthroughs in this period would later be known as part of his Annus Mirabilis, or Miracle Year, 1905. In that year, while still working as a patent clerk, Einstein published for groundbreaking papers that would permanently change the way humanity understood the universe. First came his work on the photoelectric effect, where he proposed that light could behave as particles, which he called quanta, later known as photons. This discovery would be pivotal in the development of quantum mechanics and would ultimately earn him the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. Next came his explanation of Brownian motion, offering mathematical proof of the existence of atoms, a controversial idea at the time. But it was his special theory of relativity that truly shook the scientific world. With a simple yet profound equation, E equals mc squared, Einstein demonstrated that mass and energy were not separate entities, but interchangeable. This equation, arguably the most famous in history, suggested that even the tiniest amount of mass could be converted into enormous energy, a concept that would later underpin the development of nuclear power and weapons. Berlin and the general theory of relativity. Einstein's fame grew as his theories gained recognition, and in 1914, he returned to Germany, where he was invited to join the prestigious Prussian Academy of Sciences in Berlin. This move marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life, both professionally and personally. During this time, Europe was on the brink of the First World War, and the political climate was tense. While many of his colleagues supported the war, Einstein, a pacifist, opposed it vehemently. In 1915, Einstein introduced his general theory of relativity, an extension of his earlier work. This new theory provided a more comprehensive explanation of gravity, depicting it not as a force, but as a curvature in the fabric of spacetime itself, caused by the presence of mass. This radical idea would be confirmed 4 years later amid a solar eclipse, when astronomers observed the bending of starlight as it passed near the Sun, exactly as Einstein had predicted. This triumph catapulted Einstein to international fame, making him a household name. Escape from Nazi Germany. As Einstein's theories reached global audiences, the political situation in Germany began to deteriorate. By the early 1930s, the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party had unleashed a wave of anti-Semitism and authoritarianism. Einstein, being Jewish and a vocal critic of the Nazi regime, was in great danger. In 1933, while visiting the United States, Hitler came to power in Germany, and Einstein realized he could never return. His property was seized, and he was branded a public enemy by the Nazis. Einstein chose to stay in the US, ultimately settling at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. In 1940, he became an American citizen. Nuclear weapons and the moral dilemma. As World War II loomed, Einstein's pacifist views were tested. In 1939, a group of physicists, including the Hungarian scientist Leo Szilard, approached Einstein with concerns about Nazi Germany's potential to develop nuclear weapons. Although Einstein had long opposed militarism, the threat posed by the Nazis forced him to reconsider. He co-authored a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning him about the dangers of a German atomic bomb and urging the United States to begin its own research. This letter spurred the creation of the Manhattan Project, though Einstein himself did not work directly on it. After the war, the devastating power of the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki weighed heavily on Einstein's conscience. He became an outspoken advocate for nuclear disarmament, regretting his role in urging the development of such destructive weapons. Later years and legacy. In his later years, Einstein turned his attention to deeper philosophical questions, seeking to reconcile the contradictions between quantum mechanics and relativity. He famously rejected the emerging idea that randomness governed the quantum world, declaring that God does not play dice with the universe. Despite his best efforts, Einstein was unable to devise a unified field theory, which would merge all the fundamental forces of nature into one grand equation. This quest, however, was not in vain. It laid the groundwork for future generations of physicists. Although Einstein's final years were marked by frustration at his inability to unify physics, his earlier work had already solidified his place as one of the greatest scientific minds in history. His theories reshaped the way we understand space, time, energy, and the very fabric of reality. Beyond his scientific contributions, Einstein became a symbol of intellectual freedom and humanitarianism, speaking out against oppression and advocating for civil rights in the US. Albert Einstein passed away on April 18, 1955, at the age of 76, but his legacy endures. In 1999, he was named Time magazine's Person of the Century, and physicists around the world continue to view him as one of the greatest minds ever to grace the field. His equation, E equals mc squared, remains etched into the annals of human achievement, and his name is forever intertwined with the mysteries of the universe. Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." His life was a testament to the boundless power of imagination and how a single mind can forever alter the course of history.